roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're just going to have tiered fast passes at Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
True story.
That's coming whether they do whatever they do.
I was like, yeah, it's
I
coming
know,
no matter what.
For the 50th at the latest.
Mm-hmm.
Once Tron's there.
Yeah. It'll free up Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I won't have to wait 25 minutes for the magic carpets anymore, so that's good.
Uh-huh. True story. It's a Small World will be 2 minutes.
Yep.
Wow.
There's benefits to that.
Oh, yeah. There are. I can't think of any right now.
That's why
but there are.
Opening up, because then I don't have to wait 19 hours to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I can actually get a fast pass for it and can ride it almost the same day. Sometimes the same day. It's only taking forever. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, more, not just because it'd be nice to have more stuff and cooler things, but just like I said, it'll also help. They keep wanting to bring more people in. Well, you got to get ready and you got to give them something to do than just stand in line all day. So, and like I said, I would say that, you know what, Fantasyland is good, but it is one that when you think of all the possibilities, not only what we've come up with, but all the other things, that one exactly, since that one's based on all of the stuff that actually all the movies like that one should be the focal point of the parks as far as I'm concerned. Agreed. That should be the biggest park, should be the biggest land in the park, and should be the focal point where everybody wants to go to. Yeah. Like I said, there's just so much things you can do. And if you think about it, Disneyland's Fantasyland blows the Walt Disney Worlds out of the park with they have way more attractions, and they actually have it in probably just about the same amount, if not maybe a little bit bigger platform. And there actually goes now all the way around. They've got now that thing in front of the castle where they have Fairy Tale Hall and the thing there. You go back to Fantasyland, then it goes around, and then it actually comes back around to the castle with Alice's the Alice in Wonderland ride, and then you go back to Small World, then back to where Toontown is, and the theater for Mickey and the Magical Map. It's good, but I think both of them could still use a little bit more to make it that quote unquote Fantasyland that we all would love to go visit.
But the problem you run into though is you're trying to appeal to multiple generations. You've got people that Cinderella and Snow White and Alice in Wonderland, those are 50, 60, 70 years old getting there, and those are the basis of all the Disney classics, and you've got all these new ones coming out that the younger generations are going to be much more familiar with than they are. Shannon kind of said, you have to know who Mr. Toad is. How many people you walk into Fantasyland the first or second time are going to go, oh, look, Mr. Toad. Who's Mr. Toad? What did he do? Not many. I think a good solution to this is, and I don't know if I'm going to catch grief for saying a fifth park, and get all your Fantasyland stuff, theme it top to bottom, soup to nuts, put in a lot of your newer stuff there, your Brave, your Tangled, your Princess and the Frog, and everything, your Wreck-It Ralph, everything like that. And that way you've got another whole park, which will help with your crowds, which will help with that. And you're also not ruining some of the legacy type attractions that you've got there already.
Yeah, I wouldn't be bad on that. Let's face it, they've got the area, they got the land. Why not? I mean, I know it's money, but Magic Kingdom is a classic. It's the first. It's the whole focal point and center point, whether it was Disneyland or Disney World. And when you're taking those things out, you're changing it.
Yep.
Right.
And therefore, it's not the original. And yeah, I always thought about this. Other than the castle for Cinderella, there isn't anything for Cinderella.
That's true.
Yep.
There really isn't anything for Snow White. She's in a parade. There's nothing there for Snow White. For any of those princesses,
Sleeping Beauty.
No,
she doesn't even have a castle in Florida.
I mean, Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, if you want to get their autographs and do a character thing, usually it's up there in Main Street. Mm-hmm. Usually Snow White's up there where you exit for Tinkerbell and Mickey Mouse, and then Sleeping Beauty's over there on the other side, in between the main street and the bathrooms and the customer service.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna put you over here near the bathrooms.
Yeah. You think of it kind of like, those are your anchor princesses. Those are the princesses that are always going to be there, that are always going to appeal to people no matter how old they are. Everybody knows Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. You can almost include Ariel and Belle in that group. Now, those are your anchor princesses. Absolutely. And they keep adding more, which is great. But those are your cornerstones. That's what, a good chunk of Fantasyland and Disneyland was built on.
Mm-hmm.
And so those characters need the respect. That was close to one of the first Disney films I ever watched with my kids when they were little, was Cinderella and Snow White, over and over and over and over.
Well, you have to start with the classics.
Yep. Start with the classics, and it's you don't want to see that part go away. I mean, I know people don't like change, but change is good, but you can't ignore the classics either.
Well, now, and two to build on. So you've got Pandora, but why isn't there anything other than the show Circle of Life for Lion King? Why isn't there anything really truly for Bug's Life? I mean, now you got Flick, he's not going to be doing any meet and greets anymore, this, that, and whatever.
Even the Jungle Book.
Yeah, the Jungle Book.
I mean, that's the last movie that Walt actually had his hand on.
Yeah.
And now those characters were gone.
Yeah. They've got to stop doing that. Do I think Pandora needed to be where it is and do what it is? You know what? Let's stick with what we know and what we got. We've
got enough in IPs.
Mm-hmm.
Or novel thought. Why don't we create something new?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one thing that Disney has started doing, especially getting rid of some of these things that we just talked about, like Jungle Book and Lion King, they want to appeal to the kids, which is good. But when you're walking around one of the parks with your kids are kind of guiding how you go. They're almost kind of like a divining rod towards what you're going to do next.
Right.
And they walk by Baloo and King Louie. They might not know who the heck they are. Or even nowadays, Timon and Pumbaa. What? But if they see something a little more modern or something that's newer, boom, mission accomplished. Disney got what it wanted by guiding you right to where it wanted you to go. Mm-hmm. And you didn't even have to think about going there because your kid was in the lead. And so
it's a good point. Because, even when they do the new live action Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa aren't going to look the same.
Right.
So, they're going to see it. They'll know them because they'll go and see it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess when they're old enough to see it, because I'm sure it'll be graphic. More graphic than the animated film.
And you know what? Some of that responsibility falls on our generation to show them the classics.
Oh, absolutely.
You got where all the new stuff's out and everything. And I tell you what, my grandson he'll be 3 soon. He's seen Coco. He thought it was funny. He liked it. He seen some of the other ones. But you know what? His favorite one, the one he's stuck on right now, is Peter Pan.
No way.
And he is awesome. All about Peter Pan.
Stuck on Peter Pan. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Calls me a codfish all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, it was funny. Beckett the other day had grabbed a hat and started speaking into it, and my daughter-in-law was like, "What are you doing?" And all of a sudden it clicked. Well, he's doing like he saw Peter Pan do, where he's trying to throw his voice and stuff. And that's awesome. This whole thing. So you got stuff that those old stories hold up, but yeah, the kids have to know who they are in order to be able to appreciate them. But you get them to show them who they are and everything. The boys are going to love Peter Pan, and the girls are going to love Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella. But they do have to know who they are, and watch them and everything more than just see. Okay, hey, I know what they look like. They need to watch the movie.
Right. And when they get older, and you add on the fact that every single frame of this film was hand drawn and hand painted.
Right.
It wasn't done sitting in front of a monitor, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But this was the way it used to be done. This set the groundwork for how we do things today. But there were teams and teams of people who did nothing but color it in or paint it or do this, and the backgrounds. And as they get older, and if they're into Disney, you can expose them to some of the names, Mary Blair and all that sort of stuff. And it just really opens an entire universe to those kids who, can appreciate what went into those as they get older.
Absolutely.
I mean, I hate to say it, but you keep going buying just buying up other IP and everything. You know what? It can become just like any other theme park.
Oh yeah.
When you have the Disney stuff, I mean, they created the original stuff, the Haunted Mansion, the Pirates, and all that's great. But when you got all those Disney characters, not characters that Disney bought, but the Disney characters, that's what makes Disney Disney. And so,
Right.
like I said, Pandora's great. I'm excited for Star Wars, Galaxy Edge, and different things, and the new Marvel stuff they're announcing for Disneyland and stuff. But I just don't want to get away from it to where then it's just like I said, and the characters are what sets Disney apart from other theme parks. Nobody else, even though Universal has characters and stuff, their lines aren't that long to be standing. They're not going to wait that long to sign, get an autograph, or get a picture with a character. Where that's what makes Disney Disney. Going to see Mickey Mouse, going to see Donald Duck, going to see Cinderella. I mean, and again, or two. I know that's for me. I mean, like I said, I am a character person through and through. Like I said, I'm leaving in a couple weeks, and you know what? I don't care how old I am or what. I'm going to be standing in line by myself to get some pictures with some princesses and some other characters, and so be it. But I mean, that's what makes it Disney Disney is the characters and all the different things and the history. Like Mike said, the hand-drawn stuff, what Walt did, what his 9 old men did, what the Imagineers have done and everything. It's the history, not just the cool rides and everything, but it's the history of what that place is and everything that is why we love it and we want to keep going back, and that's what's got to be passed down so it doesn't just become a theme park.
Absolutely.
Well, just like right now in life, right now in this generation, they don't pass anything down. They just don't. And that's the sad part, and that's where things get lost, and it becomes, well, it's Walt Disney World, but they don't remember who Walt Disney is.
Right.
Or Roy Disney is.
Yeah.
Just glossed over.
Huh.
Oh, there's a statue, but who is that?
Yeah, I mean, these films, I mean, they're classics, but they're based off of literary classics from hundreds of years ago. So, I mean, the stories don't die. So, and like you guys have, like everybody said, it's up to us to carry those on, whether that's through the stories or through the movies or taking them to the theme parks and introducing them to the characters that we've been so fortunate enough to grow up with. And it's, why not? Instead of buying IPs, buy a book. Like Walt used to do. Buy a book. Turn a book
What's
into...
that?
Right, what is that? What is that? But I mean, there are so many stories out there that I'm sure have been untouched that could very easily be turned into another modern day classic. I mean, we're in the what are they calling this now? The Disney revival, I think is what this is with animation.
Here's an idea. I know we have the age of streaming stuff and DVDs and Blu-rays. How about releasing some of the classics back in the theater now with all the new high def and everything before you release it on a Blu-ray? How about releasing it there so you can take your kids, just like they did with Star Wars? Take your kids to the theater so they can see it up on the big screen.
Yeah.
Or how about
don't add anything new like George Lucas did.
I'm not saying to add anything new to it, but I mean, everybody like I said, the theater still right now until it fades away. Right now, still going to the theater is a big experience to do, and so I mean that's one way to Disney can make money off of it, and then they can re-release the Blu-rays or whatever, but they've lost that too. Where like I said, it's you go there now. I mean now. And again, or two, I know that's not going to happen because now with all the different movie properties that Disney has, they're having a hard time right now trying to figure out release dates so they're not falling all over each other. So, but I just hope we don't lose the originals and the classics and stuff.
Do you think it hurt Disney? Remember back in the 90s where they would say, we're re-releasing Bambi on VHS, but only for a limited time. And after April 4th, it goes away.
It goes in the vault.
Years. Do you think that hurt?
I think that was good for the company because people rushed out and bought it again. I mean, heck, just today, I did not accept it, or I probably forgot to decline it, but I got another copy of Lady and the Tramp. Like, I already own a copy. But because I'm a Disney Movie Club member, every so often they're doing that now, where it goes back in the vault. If you're a Movie Club member, it'll come back out. Like, they'll do 4